This message ain't for everybody, only the sexy people. If you think you know where that small lyric came from, pop it in the comments below. You're my kind of people. If you're going through something right now, I want to be talking directly to you. So I hope you're listening. First of all, it's a really rainy, overcast day today and cloudy, and it doesn't typically rain here. And part of why I like living where I live is because I get a lot of sunshine here and my body loves the sunshine. But I was hearing, I came from a physiotherapy appointment and got a little bit of a healing from it. But I was starting to feel a little more relaxed. And as I was feeling more relaxed, I was actually feeling more sad. And I thought that was kind of fascinating, as we can hold on to our emotions and we sort of think like, hey, I'm doing great. I'm not feeling anything, which can be a danger. I guess we're having coffee today together. So, excuse me. Wanted to talk to you specifically because you might be struggling and you're reaching out to people online as a way of getting some sort of, I'm hearing confidence, but that's not it. Comfort from whatever it is that you're feeling. Anyways, I wrote some notes. Okay, so I did not script this at all. I don't script any of my stuff. Maybe I should. Being a content creator, I probably should, but I don't typically. So anyways, I started with this note. I'm going to continue with this note and we'll kind of see where it goes from there. I do have cards here if we need it, but I don't know if we do. So, one of the things, I'm new to being on YouTube specifically, not new in the fact that as a consumer, I've been on YouTube for a really long time, but new as a creator. Not new to the internet space or social media space at all, though, and not new to having a public forum. So I've toughened up over the years, which is great progress. However, I do recognize I have a certain responsibility as a reader and as someone who is offering insight and healing and words of encouragement and sometimes an educational piece. I recognize a certain responsibility that I have for a few things. I have a responsibility to maintaining my own wellness and well-being. I have a responsibility to being mindful of where my missteps might be. I have a responsibility to my own healing and to meditating and pursuing and continuing my connection with Source, Spirit, and God and my guides. Okay. I am fully aware of that. I take it really seriously. I was an educator for many years, over 20 plus years of education background. I have taught every age possible. Maybe not someone who's a centenarian, but they can teach me a few things. But I've taught a wide range. So I have a lot of background in how to distill things, break things down. Also, given my intuitive side, I can really pick up when people are hurting and struggling and are reaching out. So there's some folks that are making comments and sending me messages online. And it's clearly speaking that they just need maybe a little bit of attention, a little bit of, guidance. But I'm not going to get into it with them online on a public platform in that way, very specifically, partially because I don't really want to add fuel to the fire. I don't know everybody on the other side of the lens, right? I don't know who's behind their keyboard and what they're saying and doing. I can pick up on the energy around that. But one of the more tangible things that was said was that, someone who's hurting, calling out other tarot readers on social media for making things up. Now, I wrote this down, my guys, so we're not totally going to be off base here. First of all, if you don't know, intuition, psychic gifts, empath work, all of that is energy. And it is not a perfect science, and it probably could be had we ever put time and energy into it. The only ones who might really have it as a perfect science are those who are really on the pathway to high priestess status and things like that, secret societies, etc., etc. I'm not there yet. I might be, low key one, but I'm not officially there yet. I don't believe in that kind of titling for myself, anyhow. But it's not a perfect science, so that's the first thing, And if you know this already, this is not for you. But I know that what I'm saying comes through. It's authentic, and my heart is in the right place. I have caught myself on occasion with looking at like the numbers because I'm trying to build this channel, and I'm wanting to build this channel because I want to build impact. I want to have influence and impact in a positive way. And it's all coming from a really beautiful place. But I've caught myself getting wrapped up in what would be the ego, trying to get hooked on how many followers, how many comments, etc., etc. So I try to catch myself on that. So anywho, I'm not that type of reader. And if you've been following me for a little bit, hopefully you kind of get a sense of who I am as a person and how I come across. Other readers might. I know, as someone who has been a receiver of tarot in the past, sometimes there are readers and it does not jive at all. That's just a reality. Sometimes they don't. So anyways, I wrote this down. I'm just going to maybe read it a little bit. Okay. So I can speak perhaps to some readers and their style that it may not resonate with you personally. I don't know. Maybe some readers and people on social media are making it up. Very likely. Sometimes I've heard and, felt things and like it doesn't smack authentic at all. That doesn't mean what they're saying isn't true. It just means it's not for me. So who are we to say, right? Who are we to say that what is coming out of their mouths isn't spirit coming through in some fashion and teaching in some way? Because even if our spirit is not resonating with the truth that's being presented to us, maybe it's triggering us in some way. Maybe it's making us angry and frustrated. Is that not an opportunity for us to be, as students of life, to learn what is coming up? What is the symbolism? What's the energy? Where is this? Where do I need to heal? Right? So that's part of it. It's not for us to say someone is false. It's not for us to say someone is making that up. That is equivalent to saying what someone is doing doesn't have a right to exist. And I don't have to go too deep for all of us to hopefully be on the same page as to what that means, because we're dealing with this politically in many parts of the world right now. That certain people, certain walks, certain orientations might not belong, right? And that's not what this channel is about. And I don't think, if you're still here listening, that's not what you're about. But you might be hurting a little bit. The most important takeaway is that if messaging and teachings aren't resonating with you, you just move on. That's as simple as that. That is the way you do it. And it's not your reading, it's for someone else, and that is totally okay. And it's like that's the internet. We are in a public square. So if you were physically in a public square and you had all of these readers and soothsayers and seers and what have you, all on different parts of the market square, and they were all calling out their message, you would meander through, stop, listen. Rain's picking up now, by the way. You would meander, you'd listen, maybe stop and go, that person has a point. Or maybe you go, that guy is crazy. And then you'd leave. You'd go on, you'd move on. You'd go to a different stall. You'd find another market. You would. So, same with the internet. You don't have to stay. You don't have to be here. That's okay. You can go to someone else. You don't have to go to anyone. You don't have to take a break. I actually have it in my description. Too much of anything isn't good for you. I have sometimes overdosed on tarot. And, sometimes I think it can impact our manifestation work, because tarot is forward facing in some respects, right? And if we are constantly forward facing that something's coming, it's never actually having arrived, if that makes sense. So there's that piece. Okay. But I'll try to break this down. If I choose to put this teaching up, which I think I will put a chapter breakdown here for those of you who might already, this is resonating, you don't need it. Okay. So some of us are speaking the truths as we see it. and as we interpret it, others are not. You don't have to listen for the whole thing, but I encourage you, why not? If it's not resonating, get your own cards, get your own method, and connect with your divine self, with your spirit team, with your spirit guides. Meditate, pray, do a guided meditation. I have guided meditations. There are so many options. And I know that can be overwhelming. Sometimes more than enough can be like the equivalent of nothing, because you can be paralyzed. I can't even say it. You'd be paralyzed to make a choice. I get that. But there's options. Get in touch with your own spiritual team. Get in touch with your own guides. You know, they are waiting for you to connect with them. And they cannot intervene unless you ask. So there's that message. If you are hurting, I want to send you love right now. And I want to let you know that I acknowledge that we sometimes go through things underground and no one else sees it. And I can be very flamboyant. I have a lot of energy. I can crack jokes. I really like to keep to the positive, but I'm going to tell you, I have been in a very dark hole in the past. I will not go back again, but I was there and I know what it feels like. Today, for example, because it was raining, I actually heard, is it Garbage? I'm only happy when it rains. I'm only happy when it rains. And then the chorus goes, pour your misery down on me. And it goes on and on. Well, that's fascinating because most people, like, I am not happy when it rains. But some people do like a little rain day. They like to get tucked in and cozy and what have you. Me personally, I could live without it. Thank you very much. But I found it interesting when that came in, I'm only happy when it rains. And it reminded me of when I was in my dark hole. The dark hole can become comfortable, and it becomes comfortable even if it's uncomfortable because it's familiar. If you've been depressed for a really long time, that can feel like the place to be. It's so intoxicating. Being down and depressed can be a real draw. Sip of coffee before it gets cold. But the reason I am actually here, is standing here, sitting here, and actually starting a YouTube channel, which was motivated largely by the fact that I know the planet's hurting in a lot of ways. I was in the hole and I climbed out of the hole. And then I wanted to be there for people should they also be finding themselves stuck in a little hole or even a big hole. And so I'm here for that. And I'm here for you if it resonates. And I want to remind you that if you are one of those people struggling and you're in that comfortable place where the darkness feels like the best place to be, there's a couple things with that. Number one, sometimes we want to crawl into a hole and stay there for a little bit. And that might be our body's signal that we just need to rest. And that's okay. Sometimes, though, our brains can get into a story and start telling stories where we think we need to deal with it in ways that would be quite unsavory. That's not healthy. That's not natural. Even if you've been living with a thought for a long time. It is not natural to have those thoughts. So if you've had them and they persist, you please reach out and speak to someone. And I will put some links if I can find them, okay, in here. But there are these times that feel dark and these times that feel challenging and this time that can feel depressing. These usually are not forever. They really aren't. They can feel like forever. It's like if you've ever had an infant. Infancy, being the parent of a new child is crazy because you feel like you're going to be in this infancy stage forever. You are sleep deprived. You feel like you're being tortured. You've lost yourself, you know? Like, I get it. Postpartum depression. If this is you and I'm speaking to you right now, I'm sending you so much love. I'm like grounded for a second. Because that can last a long time. Thank you, Starbucks, for the tear handkerchief. I'm going to remain grounded because no one needs to see me cry while I'm trying to uplift you. You know, that's annoying. That can be annoying, but just know it's coming from an authentic place when I speak. Okay. So I'm going to get grounded here. So if that's you, I'm here. Okay. To be a testimony, to let you know it is not a forever place. It is a blip on the screen. It is a moment. And if it's a time for you to have some deep rest, then do it. Allow yourself to crawl under a blanket and be there for a little bit, but don't stay there for too long. My partner said it. It was the most wise words. I don't even know if he knew where it was coming from, but he said, it might feel really comfortable, but it's not a good place to be staying in, right? You can't stay there forever. You have to move on. Don't force yourself, but it's not forever. If you are in that hole, this is your time where you're being made stronger. And in one of my previous videos, which was channeled message from spirit, in the channeled writing, I shared about the image they gave, which was the lotus flower being down in the dark, in the muck, and nobody sees what's happening down there at the bottom of a pond or a bog or a lake. But there's a lot happening inside that little enclosure. I don't know if you can hear the rain, but it's really loud. There's a lot happening beneath the surface that no one else can see. They don't see that growth. And you might not be seeing that growth either, but it's happening. You're being made stronger. Okay. Being made stronger. And you can do this. And if when I say you can do this, and you hear a voice in your head starts to clap back a little bit and it's responding and it's like, yeah, right, it's not going to get better. Please know that that is not you. That is actually not you. Is it even yours? You could ask yourself that. Is this mine? Is that my thought? Really? Truly? Is that mine? Or does that belong to someone else? Someone, something. Is it a system? Is it a belief system? Is it a institution? Is it something someone said to you when you were a child? Is it just the general vibe of how other people are feeling and behaving? Is it in a meme? Whatever. Is it yours? Chances are it's not. Control Alt Delete, baby. That thought, get rid of it. Delete that file. So that's an energy that can feel really shitty because it feels impossible. And you can send that away. And there's little ways that you can do it. Now, there's different degrees, and I'm going to offer some things. And today might not be the day, but maybe tomorrow or later today, okay? When you see this, just think about it like this. So I've written down some things that I think can be very effective in little ways. Because some people are like, go out, find a therapist, go do this, go do that, join a retreat, whatever. Like, that's too much. So here's a list. And I hope it helps. And if that little voice starts creeping up and rolling its energetic little eyes at this little scenario, tell it to take a seat. Give it a little name if you want. I have two. I have a gremlin. And I also have Debbie. And if you follow me on TikTok, I shared Debbie. So here we are. Clear your space. So that could be quite literally smudge. Light some incense. Clear your space. Pick up the clothes off the floor. Clear a walkway for yourself. Clear your space. Open your windows. Go outside and take a walk if you're up for it. Clear out your head. Take out the garbage. Dust. Wipe down your countertop. Flush the toilet. Clear. Turn off social media. You can turn me off now. I won't be offended. Turn off the television. Grab a book. Sit with a book. Open the book. Maybe even read the book. Or at least a page or two. Go ahead and be in your cave. Sit with yourself without any of those other extraneous things. And really, truly sit and get to know who you are and what is this experience that you're having. And regain your sovereignty. To be sovereign is to have agency over your own life, your own experience, and who you are. You are sovereign. We are all sovereign. We are all sovereign beings. Having a human experience. So let's reclaim some sovereignty. So if getting up and trying to clear energy is too much, claim your sovereignty. I am sovereign. Say it on repeat. Let that be a mantra. So it can feel really hard, and I get that. Go take a shower. Go wash your hair. Go have a bath. Change your clothes. If that's too much to have a whole bath, change your clothes. Change your underwear. Change your socks. Eat a snack. Drink a glass of water. These are all very small steps, but the slightest change in your routine is a shift in energy. It is a shift, and it is enough to alter the energy. Your brain is going to try to talk you out of it. That is what our little egos like to do. Your brain will try to say, no, not right now. Don't do it. Just do one thing. Take off your nail polish. Put on some nail polish. Be crazy. If you wear a watch and you wear it on your left, put it on your right. Something for you and only you. You have little kids at home? Let everyone change their socks. Make it a fun thing. Get everyone to pick out a different pair of socks for each other. Make it a game. So I was called to share that. I'm going to say I'm not a therapist. I am an educator who's been around for several decades on this planet. And I have walked those paths, and I will never allow myself to go as dark and deep as I was in the past. Nothing to feel shame over. There is nothing to feel shame over. There is nothing to feel shame over. You need not feel shame. If you are feeling down, you're okay. And this might be your greatest comeback. This might be the moment. Because I know it was for me, where I had an ego death. I got an opportunity to address certain values that were swimming around in the shadows. This is what the shadow work is. And I was able to recognize, oh, wow, I'm actually subscribing to this sort of attitude, even though I don't truly believe it. You know, the notion about if you're a female, And your worthiness comes from your appearance or the number on the scale or the size of your pants or whatever. That's bullshit. That is such bullshit. Such bullshit. Or an ageism thing. Or an ableist thing. If you are unable to walk, crawl, roll around on the floor, stretch, even just hand exercises if you can. There are ways around all of this. Anyways, I'm a teeny tiny baby channel. I'm a teeny tiny channel right now. I know I'm not going to be a teeny tiny channel forever, but if you're here right now and have had this opportunity to sort of like hear this and it resonates in some way for you, I just want you to know that I'm here because I've walked the path. So I'm speaking from experience. If you need help, immediate help, I ask you to call an emergency line and talk to someone. There's some really good people out there. And there are earth angels. And we're here for that. And we're here for each other. And maybe you're having this experience right now so that you, at some point down the line, will be able to speak from your experience and help someone else. And it's okay to feel angry. And it's okay to feel like you got the short end of the stick. It's okay to feel that way. It doesn't have to be all light and love and bubbles, because it's not. The real work is the shadow stuff. And I'm just here, though, to reflect back that if you're feeling short end of the stick, if you're feeling like things are going backwards instead of forwards, this is your moment to be able to recognize, try not to take it. I know this is hard, but try not to take it personally and just go, that is contrast. That is not something that I envisioned for my life. So what can I do differently? What's one thing? And I've given you a little list of little things you can start. Eat some protein, drink some water, splash some cold water on your face. Start there. Get yourself calm. You won't be able to solve the problem, the perceived problem, from an amped up place or from a sad place or from whatever heightened emotion you might be feeling. You won't be able to get there from here, Like you need to be calm first. And so remember, you are sovereign. Remember, you have agency. Remember that anything that is occurring right now is not a forever place. It is a moment along the road for your higher learning and your higher self. And if you're here till the end, you probably do know this deep down already. And I love you so much. And since we're here, I will pull a silly little card and let's see what we get. What does our collective need right now? Sun is coming out, though. I don't know if you can see that the light has shifted. So even the rain doesn't last forever. I love you. Wow, there we go. Oh my gosh, the Hermit. You guys, can you see that? Wait, put it in front of my face. Yeah, I was speaking about postpartum. Interesting. Speaking of, my kid's school's calling, so I have to answer it. Okay, we'll look this up in a bit. I love you.